Hi, all students. This is the last topic that we have to discuss about the quality, lean and JIT, right? Under the supply chain management and the operation management, we have to discuss this one. So the lean production, right? The integrated activities designed to achieve high volume, high quality production using minimal inventories for the raw materials, right? It means uh, as a company we have to spend too much money if we keeping our stocks, right? Then ඔයාලට තේරෙනවා in Sri Lanka also the most of the industries are facing the different kind of troubles, right? Without lack of the inventories නැතිකම නිසා ගොඩාක් මේ දේවල් වලට ප්‍රශ්න වලට මුහුණ දෙන්න වෙනවා. But in this concept is focusing how minimal inventories are keeping, right? So we have to invest money, right? අපි තොග තියා ගන්නවා නම් we have to invest a lot of money. කියන්නේ අපි ඒක purchase කරලා ඒ money එතන රඳවලා තියාගෙන ඉන්න වෙනවා. ඒ හින්දා මේ lean production කියන another concept එක මේ it's another concept which is more importantly and more practically use this concept, right? And also maintaining the customer value, consumer value. It means inventories ගොඩ ගහගෙන තියාගෙන හිටියා කියලා ඒකට cost එකක් අපි වැය කරා කියලා customers are not willing to pay that money, right? That's the main thing. කියන්නේ අපි තොග තියාගෙන ඉන්න ලක්ෂ ගාණක් වියදම් කරාට ඒ කාලය කොච්චර තියාගත්තද ඒව කස්ටමර්ට වැදගත් නෑ, but the customer is focusing what is the minimum it's a value that we can get and the payment that should be very less. ඒ කියන්නේ අඩු ගාණක් ගෙවන්න ලොකු value එකක් ගන්න තමයි customer කැමති. So the keeping an inventory or the minimization of waste is very important, because waste is anything that does not add value from the customer's perspective. අපි production එක කරද්දි නාස්ති වුණා කියලා ඒ නාස්ති වුණ වියදම කස්ටමර්ගෙන් අය කරගත්ත කියලා කස්ටමර් එකට ගෙවන්න කැමති නැහැ, right? කස්ටමර් එකට pay කරන්න කැමති නැහැ, right? ඒවා operational issues වෙන්න පුළුවන් නිසා. So the waste elimination is the responsible goal, the service operations and the operation management වල අපි waste elimination කියන එක හුඟක් වැදගත් concept එකක් වෙනවා. So the manufacturing operations compared to the service operations far more controllable. එතකොට අපි service operation පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් ඒ පැත්තේ waste වෙන්න පුළුවන්. හැබැයි manufacturing පැත්තෙත් waste වෙන්න පුළුවන් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි two different, right? Because in the service operations uncertainty in the task time, right? දැන් අපි hotel එකක් ගත්තොත් අපි හිතන්නකෝ mobile phone හදන factory එක waste වෙන්න පුළුවන් chance එක අඩුයි, because we can keep the inventories as a final product, as an inventory we can keep and we can use in the future times. But if we get a restaurant එකක් වගේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒකෙදි කෑම හදලා තියන් ඉද්දි customers ලා එන්නත් පුළුවන් නොවෙන්නත් පුළුවන්. එතකොට ඒ කෑම customers ලා ආවේ නැත්තම් excess foods කියන ඒවා අයින් කරන්න වෙනවා, right? So compared to the manufacturing organizations, so the service organizations have some uncertainty in the task time and the uncertainty in the demand and customers production role, right? So customer ge interest එක වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, customer බත්තු වෙලා තිබ්බට ඇවිල්ලා කොත්තු request කරන්න පුළුවන්. That happens. If the sales and marketing are part of the process, the demand uncertainty also can be reduced. So the main thing is we have to reduce the demand uncertainties. Then අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම if the example like Pizza Hut, right? They have already prepared a to some extent. ඒගොල්ලෝ pizza හදාගෙන තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි some extent එකකට cheese ලූණු ඒ කියන ඒ ham sausages ඒ හැමදේම ඒගොල්ලෝ ready කරගෙන තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. If the customer is requested, then they are doing their production, start their production process. They are getting nearly 10 to 15 minutes to prepare a pizza, right? So likewise we have to the different companies and different organizations, whatever the task they have to focus different kind of things, especially eliminating waste, because it doesn't add value to the final product of the customer, right? The production needs to create by actual demand of a product. එතකොට actual demand එක අපි ගන්නවා based on the customer, right? Final assembly කරලා දෙනවා. ඒකේ sub categories තියෙන්න පුළුවන්, fabrications තියෙන්න පුළුවන් එක එක section wise. Each stage of the system is tightly linked and material is pulled through the system only when there is a demand. Customer ki demand එක මත product නිෂ්පාදනය කරන්න, right? It's mainly the lean production, because to eliminate the waste, right? Waste එක eliminate කරන්න ඕන නිසා. And also if we identify as a company Toyota production system. So the Toyota production system is the benchmark for lean manufacturing. The Toyota production system was developed the quality and the productivity. So it's act as a benchmark, right? So the main thing, it's a Japanese concept and it mainly focused eliminating of waste and the respect for people. Waste එක අඩු කරන එක සහ මිනිස්සුන්ට කරු කරන එක දෙකම මේ Toyota production system එකේ තියෙන දෙයක්. And lean කියන concept එකත් අපිට මේකෙම බලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. Main thing is the waste from the overproduction. වැඩි නිෂ්පාදනය කරලා waste එක නැති කරනවා. ඊට පස්සේ waste of waiting times. නිකන් තියෙන කාලේ ඒගොල්ලෝ අඩු කරලා තිනවා. And transportation waste, inventory waste, processing waste, waste of motions, waste from a product defects. මේ කියන දේවල් වලින් Toyota production system එක ඒගොල්ලෝ develop කරලා තියෙනවා. So the value stream means these are the value adding and non-value adding activities. එතකොට මේකෙදි value adding activities ඒගොල්ලෝ දිගටම තියාගෙන තියෙනවා. It means non-value adding activities eliminate කරනවා. මේක තමයි මේකේ ප්‍රධානම දේ මේ concept එක. එතකොට මේක අපේ business එකකට ඔයාලා අනාගතේ යන තැනකට උනත් වැඩි කරන්න පුළුවන්, add කරන්න පුළුවන් දෙයක්. non-value added things you have to remove from the production line, the production process, right? Provide product from the concept to launch in order to delivery and the raw materials to customers. Raw materials in the final customer ke product එකට වෙනකම් study කරලා non-value adding activities we have to remove that one. And waste reduction, optimization of value adding activities and eliminating of non-value adding activities is the part of value stream. එතකොට optimizing value adding activities, waste කියන එක අඩු කරලා අපිට පුළුවන් optimize කරන්න value adding activities. And components of this supply chain and what they expected using the lean focus. එතකොට lean suppliers lean suppliers are able to respond to change. එතකොට lean supplier කෙනෙක් කියන්නේ වෙනසකට අනුගත විය හැකි. Especially the most of the companies collapse and most of the companies earn much more than the previous times in this COVID-19 period, because they have capacity, they have capabilities to adapt to these changes, right? Lean suppliers deliver on time and their culture is one of the continuous improvement, continuously improve වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමදාම වැරදි අඩු කරගෙන waste අඩු කරගෙන හොඳම දේ හරිම වෙලාවට deliver කරන එක තමයි lean supplier කෙනෙක්ගේ quality එක. The lean procurement, a key to lean procurement is automation. එතකොට මේක automation කරලා තියෙනවා e-procurement. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි නිකන් ගියොත් එහෙම සමහර companies හදලා තියෙනවා customers ලා බඩු purchase කරද්දිම inventory එක අඩු වෙලා ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙන් supplier ට messages යන විදිහට supplier is also a part of the company. ඒගොල්ලෝ company එකේම part එකක් විදිහට supplier ව තියලා ඒගොල්ලන්ටත් access දෙනවා ඒගොල්ලන්ගේ කොච්චර inventories තියනවද, when we have to deliver, what quantity we have to deliver. Those kind of decisions can make suppliers to make this happen very easier. So the lean manufacturing means produce what the customers want in the quantity they want and when they want it, right? එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් නත්තල් කාලේට ඕන production එකක් ඊට කලින් product කරලා ඒගොල්ලෝ තියන් ඉන්නවා what amount that customer expect and what quantities and what quality. ඒ හැමදේම focus කරලා customer ට ඕන විදිහට නිෂ්පාදනය කරනවා. And lean warehousing is related to eliminating non-value adding steps and waste in product storage processes. එතකොට storage වලවත් කිසිම තැනක හානියක් වෙන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මේ customer ව focus කරගෙනම තමයි හැමදේම නිර්මාණය වෙන්නේ. And lean logistic means the protecting, right? The movement is very important, and on that time that logistic is happening, and lean customers have a great understanding of their business needs and specify meaningful requirement. They value speed and flexibility, and they expected high levels of delivery. එතකොට customer ට හොඳම production එක දෙන්න, හොඳම නිෂ්පාදනය දෙන්න, වෙලාවට දෙන්න, waste එක අඩු කරගෙන, and highly satisfied customer can create through this lean system. So the benefits of lean supply chain, primarily responsiveness to the customer, especially customer focus කරගෙන අපි මේක හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ, and the supply chain adaptation එකක් company එකට ගන්න පුළුවන්, and we can focus the customer means we have to adapt to the change. දැන් හිතන්න බලන්න what happens in this COVID-19 period. That issue was to sometimes customers can't come out of the home, but companies has to satisfy their customers, and they have to make available their products in the customer door, and most of the companies started the delivery systems. Hari ඊට පස්සේ different kind of method ඒගොල්ලෝ පාවිච්චි කරා. Anyway customer ගේ door step එකට product එක යන්න. If it is a service organizations, through the app, and if it is a bank, online facilities, everything was given to satisfy these customers, right? එතකොට සමහර වෙලාවට ATM machines mobile විදිහට ගෙනිච්ච මිනිස්සු ගාව online banking තිබ්බට හැමෝම ඒක accept කරන්නේ නැහැ. මේ හැමදේම to responsiveness to the customer. The reduce inventory, it means inventory level එක අඩු කරන එක සමහරට risk එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්, but maintaining a good inventory management system, right? quality එකට හොඳට මේක maintain කරන එක, to we can gain the competitive advantage. එතකොට මේකෙන් competitive advantage තරඟකාරී වාසියක් අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන්. And third, production system, the lean concept, prevent maintenance, group technology and quality at the source. Preventive maintenance means periodic inspections and repair designed to keep equipment reliable. එතකොට කිසිම drop එකක් වෙන්නේ නැති වෙන්න flow එක හොඳට යන්න maintenance කියන alert එකේ ඉන්නවා. And group technology means similar parts group into families and process required to make a part and arrange specialized work cell. එතකොට මේක work cell එකක් විදිහට අපි කිව්වා production line වල work cell එකක් විදිහට කොහොමද වැඩ කරන්න කියලා. And quality at the source means every point they are considering not the quantity that they have to produce as well as the quality improvements. And sometimes ඒ වගේ හැම කෙනාම quality එක කියන එක focus කරොත් quality checking වලට කෙනෙක් අවශ්‍ය නැති වෙනවා organization එකට. That also a very good practice, right? And lean supply chains. Building a lean supply chain involves taking a system to approach to integrating the partners. Supply must be coordinated with the need of production facilities, and production must be tied directly to the demand customers for the product, especially focusing the customer needs. And we are giving awareness to our suppliers ලට awareness එකක් දෙනවා. suppliers අපි directly contact කරගෙන ඉන්නවා හොඳම දේ final customer ට deliver කරන්න. Specialized plans and collaboration with suppliers, so those are the special things, right? We have to focus. And lean services, the 10 most successful techniques applied with the service companies. Organize problem solving groups. එතකොට හැම level එකේම problem solving group එකක් ඉන්නවා. ඒ හේතුව customer service වල මොනවද වෙන issues, production වල මොනවද වෙන issues, delivery වල මොනවද වෙන issues, right? Because customer service වල ඉන්න අය customers ලා ගැන expert, delivery වල ඉන්න අය vehicle සහ delivery ගැන expert. So organize a problem solving groups and upgrade housekeeping. It means not only the necessity of item schemes, the work area එක ඊට පස්සේ ඒ work කරන equipments ඒ හැමදේම clean එකට තියන් ඉන්නවා. upgrade quality, ඒ හැම දෙයකම quality එක වැඩි කරනවා, හොඳම දේවල් තියන් ඉන්නවා. And clarify process flows, clarification of flows based on the JIT themes, right? Just in times can dramatically improve the process performance. ඒ කියන්නේ just in time production එක යන වෙලාවට අවශ්‍ය නිෂ්පාදන ඒ වෙලාවෙම ලැබෙනවා, suppliers ලගින් ලැබෙනවා. ඒක තමයි just in times කියන්නේ. And revise equipments and process technologies. එතකොට දෙන එන ඒවත් එක්ක අලුත් technologies එක්ක upgrade වෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ levels of facilities. අපි load the service from the firms, synchronize the production with the demand. එතකොට facilities level අනුව adapt කරන්න ඕන, technologies adapt කරන්න ඕන, customer ගේ need එක එන production එක විදිහට මේ හැමදේම අපි demand එකට adjust කරලා තියන්න ඕන. Eliminate unnecessary activities, right? අනවශ්‍ය activities හැම දෙයක්ම අපි අයින් කරලා තියන්න ඕන. And recognize physical configurations. It means frequently required reorganization during a lean implementation. එතකොට හැම දෙයකම required කරනවා. අපි නැවත පිහිටවද්දී මේ reorganize කරද්දී physical configuration අවශ්‍ය දේවල් මොනවද, ඒ හැම දෙයකම අවශ්‍යතාවය හඳුනාගෙන ඉන්න ඕන. And introduce demand pull scheduling. ඒ කියන්නේ demand එක මත, customer ගේ ඉල්ලුම මත production එක සිද්ධ වෙන demand pull scheduling system එකක් අපිට introduce කරන්න ඕන. And develop a supply networks means පුළුවන් තරම් suppliers ලා වඳුරාගෙන optional suppliers. If there is anything happens to a main supplier, then we have to focus other suppliers also. එතකොට ඒ අනික් suppliers ලත් කොහොමද අඳුරගන්නේ, ඒගොල්ලෝගේ කොහොමද network එක තියාගන්නේ කියලා අපිට focus කරන්න ඕන, right? And JIT means just in time, right? Producing what is need when it needed and no more, right? අපි stock තියාගෙන ඉන්නේ නැහැ, just in time මේ දේවල් supply කරන්න ක්‍රමයට අපි හදාගෙන ඉන්නවා. But in country like Sri Lanka can achieve some parts for this, but main thing is we have to do more and more things to expand this or practice this. හිතන්නකො ලංකාවේ import side එකේ dollar issues සහ logistic issues ලංකාවේ තියෙද්දී actually we can't implement just in time to import related supplies ලා ඉන්නවා නම් import side එකේ supplies ඉන්නවා නම් මේ just in time එකේ risk එකක් එනවා. But if we can focus that one, definitely we are in the good position. ඇත්තටම අපිට පුළුවන් නම් එහෙම එකක් අපි හොඳ position එකක ඉන්නවා. Just in time, we are not keeping inventories, just we are getting what we need and no more. That's the thing. So main things we have to consider in this, the maintaining a quality, right? Quality එක maintain කරනවා වගේම Toyota production system එකේ other thing we have to identify is the respect for people. මිනිස්සුන්ට කොච්චර ගරු කරනවද කියන එක. Because that most of the Toyota employees first job is at the Toyota and last job it means retire වෙනකම්ම එකම තැන වැඩ කරනවා, right? Actually we are like to hear those kind of companies. ඒ වගේ companies තියෙනවා කියලා අහන්නත් ආසයි. මොකද ලංකාවේ ගොඩක් අය companies මාරු කරනවා. But main thing is respecting the people. ඒ කියන්නේ වැඩ කරන අයට, organization එකේ සියලුම දෙනාට සහ customers ලට respect කරන එක මේ Toyota එකේ main focus එකක්. එතකොට the maintaining a respect means we are giving good things to the customers. Waste නැති, defects නැති products දෙනවා customers වලට, as well as the employees are getting more benefit with the respect. එතකොට ඔය තමයි quality improvements, quality ගැන Toyota manufacturing system එක සහ lean JIT එක අපිට study කරන්න තියෙන එක. More informations are available on the website, as well as I'll discuss what are the exam related things in later, right? Thank you very much for participating this lecture. Have a nice day. Right. මේ පාඩමේදී අපි කතා කරන්නේ ඒ කියන්නේ මේ පාඩම අදාළයි quality management වලට. එතකොට ඒකෙම part එකක් විදිහට කතා කරන්නේ මේ ISO ගැන. මේ හේතුව ISO ගැන කතා කරන්න because it is the standard, right? Operation management වල අපි කතා කරන්නේ කොයි විදිහටද මේ ආයතන, ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ඒ කියන්නේ ලංකාව විතරක් නෙවෙයි, it's a global phenomena. ඒගොල්ලෝ කොහොමද innovations කරන්න, new දේවල්, අලුත් දේවල් කරන්න, businesses කොහොමද conduct කරගෙන යන්නේ, ඊට පස්සේ ඒ වගේ situations කොයි විදිහටද තියෙන්නේ, ඊට පස්සේ යාලා day by day operations කොයි විදිහටද කරගෙන යන්නේ, what are the strategies, what are the capacities, layouts, work assignment, ඊට පස්සේ inventory, ඔය කියන ගොඩාක් දේවල් ගැන අපි කතා කරා. දැන් අපිට තියෙන්නේ මේ quality management. ඒ කියන්නේ තත්ත්ව සහතිකකරණයට අදාළව තියෙන මේ ISO කියන එක ගැන කතා කරනවා. එතකොට මේ ISO කියන්නේ ISO අපි දැකලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ හුඟක් විට මේ සමහර භාණ්ඩ විකුණද්දී ISO certified කියලා ගහලා තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ සමහර SLS කියලා තියෙනවා. ISO කියලා තියෙනවා. ඇත්තටම ඒවා මේ ප්‍රොඩක්ට්ස් වලට දෙන ඒවා නෙවෙයි. මේවා මේ process verification වගේ තමයි මේකට යන්නේ. right? එතකොට මේ වෙබ් එකේ තියෙන දේවල් ටිකත් අපි කතා කරලා ISO කියන්නේ මොකක්ද කොයි විදිහටද වෙන්නේ ඒ හැමදේම බලමු. So I'll share the web link with you. ඔයාලත් එක්ක මේ web link එක share කරන්නම්. right, iso.org කියන එක. එතකොට about කියන එකේදී අපි ගියොත් එම ISO the International Organization for Standardization, right? තත්ත්ව සහතිකකරණය පිළිබඳ අන්තර්ජාතික ආයතනය තමයි ISO කියලා කියන්නේ. right, is an independent non-governmental international organization with the membership of 169 national standard bodies. එතකොට 169ක් රටවල් එකතු වෙලා පිහිටවාගෙන තියෙන ආයතනය. කියන්නේ මේ ආයතනය පිහිටවලා තියෙනවා. දැනට ගත්තොත් membership එක 169 ඉන්නවලු. එතකොට ලංකාවෙත් මේක තියෙනවා. ඒකයි වැදගත්. Through this membership, it's being bring together to experts to share knowledge and develop voluntarily consequences-based market-relevant international standards to support innovation and provide solutions to global challenges. එතකොට globally එන challenges වලට solutions හැමෝම එකතු වෙලා හදන ආයතනයක් standard. ඒ කියන්නේ තත්ත්වය සහතික කරනවා හැම දෙයකදී. එතකොට මෙයාලගේ ඔෆිස් එක තියෙන්නේ ජිනීවා ස්විට්සර්ලන්ඩ් වල. මේ ගැන තව details තියෙනවා. what we do කියන එක අපි නිකන් ගත්තොත් එහෙම ඒගොල්ලෝ කරන දේවල් මෙතන තියෙනවා. එතකොට membership එකත් එක්ක full members or member bodies influence ISO standard development and strategy by participating and voting ISO technical policy meetings. Full members shall the adopt international standard nationally. එතකොට මේ කියන internationally පිළිගත්ත විදිහකට ආයතන සූදානම් කරන එක තමයි කරන්නේ. එතකොට මේගොල්ලෝගේ main එකේ මේක ඒ ලබා දීලා තියෙන රටවල් වල ඉන්න members-ලා ඒ ISO certified කරන ආයතන වලට ගන්න එක තමයි. එයාලා රිසර්ච් කරන එක ගැන තියෙනවා මෙතන. It has set an ambiguous goal to see the international standard used everywhere. කියන්නේ හැම තැනම එකම ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක්. නිකමට හිතන්නකෝ ලෝකේ දැන් අපි ලංකාවේ හිටියට වෙන රටකට ගියාම ඒ රටෙත් ලංකාවෙම තියෙන ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්ස් තිබ්බොත් අන්න අපිට පහසුයි. දවාලා දැකලා ඇති ලංකාවේ මේ තිබ්බේ සුදු කහ මේ කහයිරි කියලා තිබ්බේ ඒක සුදු පාට කරා zebra crossing එක හේතුව ඉන්ටර්නැෂනල් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ ලංකාවේ ලයිසන් එක ගත්තම ලෝකේ ඕනම තැනක ඒක පිළිගන්නවා නම් අන්න අපිට මාර ලේසි දේවල් ඒ කියන්නේ එහෙ ගිහිල්ලා හෙට ඕන ලයිසන්ස් ගන්න ඕනේ නැහැ. right, දැන් ඒ වගේ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එකකට තමයි අර විදිහේ කාහිරියම වෙනස් කරන් ගියේ. but ඒක කොහොමද කියන එක දන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි ලංකාවේ ලයිසන් එකත් ලෝකෙ පිළිගන්න රටවල් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඒ වගේ ලෝකෙම පිළිගන්න ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් වුණොත් එහෙම හුඟක් දේවල් වලට sharing basis ලේසි. right? දැන් අපි language එක විදියට English ඉගෙන ගන්න එක ගොඩාක් රටවල් වලට ගිහිල්ලා වැඩ කරගන්න globally අපි වැඩ කරද්දී ඒක මාර වටින සහ ලේසි එකක් වෙලා තියෙනවා. right? එතකොට මේකේ තව විස්තර කීපයක් තියෙනවා. right? right. research ගැන ඒ විදියට තියෙනවා. right. strategies. right. මේගොල්ලොන්ගේ 2030 වෙද්දී ඒගොල්ලෝ ස්ට්‍රැටජි එකක් ප්ලෑන් කරනවා. right? මොකක්ද මේ ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක? Together we will have to roll the play the ISO strategy 2030 set as an important journey towards success. right. ඉක්මනින්ම මේක කියවගෙන මේක කියවලා their strategy idea එක chat එකේ දාන්න බලන්න briefly.
right. එතකොට මේගොල්ලොන්ගේ දැන් මේන්ම ටාගට් එක වෙන්නේ strategy 2030 කියන එක, making lives easier, safer and better, right? ඒක කරන්නේ කොහොමද? We operate in the world where the change is a constant. ඒ කියන්නේ නිතරම change වෙන ලෝකයක අපි ඉන්නේ, and where the challenges, disrupts and can be global in scale. කියන්නේ challenges එනවා, අභියෝග එනවා, ඒ වගේම disrupts. දැන් තියෙන දේවල් එකපාරම නැති වෙලා යනවා. floppy disk නැති වෙලා CD ආවා, CD නැති වෙලා pen drives ආවා. pen drives එනකොට දැන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා portable hard disk, right? ඒ වගේ technologies ගොඩාක් එනවා. and ඊට පස්සේ hard disk එනකොට drives ආවා, drivers, online drivers can be to be well positioned within the global context. We must have clear and agile strategy that defines our purposes and what we want to achieve. එතකොට clear සහ මේ agile, ඒ කියන්නේ වෙනස් වෙන පරිසරයට සුදුසු strategies උපක්‍රම අපි ලෑස්ති කරලා දැන් තියාගන්න ඉන්නවා. achieve wise, allowing up to anticipate change and adapt quickly to the world around us. ඒ කියන්නේ ලෝකයේ දේවල් වලට ගැලපෙන්න සුදුසු විදිහට අපි වැඩ කරන්න සූදානම් වෙලා ඉන්න ඕන, right? එතකොට මේගොල්ලොන්ගේ මිෂන් එක මිෂන් මේ විදිහට ගිහිල්ලා මේ sustainable development goals ඒව achieve කරගන්න මේගොල්ලොත් try කරන එක තමයි මේ world standard වල මේන්ම මිෂන් එක වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට මේ විදිහට තියෙන විස්තර. එතකොට මේ විදිහට තමයි මේ ISO කියන ආයතනයේ consistency. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක හැදිලා තියෙන විදිහ. එතකොට මේක විශේෂයෙන් මම කියන්න හේතුව අපි ISO කියන එක දැනගත්තට international standardization organization, right? ඒක අපි කියන්නේ මෙහෙම international organization for standardization. ඒක තමයි මේ ISO කියන එක හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ විදිහට ගත්තොත් ඒ ආයතනයේ background එක ඔය විදිහට තමයි හැදලා තියෙන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ අපි ගියොත් එහෙම මෙයාලගේ තියෙන standards, right? ISO standards are the internationally agreed by experts. එතකොට මේවා නිකම්ම හදලා නැහැ. internationally ගොඩාක් අය expert ලා එකතු වෙලා හදපු එකක්. Think of them as a formula that describe the best way of doing something. එතකොට ISO වලින් දැනට හොයාගෙන තියෙන විදිහට that is the best way to implement something. ඒ කියන්නේ ඕනම දෙයක් කරන්න තියෙන හොඳම විදිහ තමයි මේ ISO වලින් හැදිලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට it could be about making products, managing a process, දේවල් හදන එක, managing a process, delivering a service, supply materials, මොනාරි හදන එක, ඒක කළමනාකරණය කළ එක, ඒක delivering service or supplying materials. service එකක් සේවාවක් දෙනවා, එහෙම නැත්නම් අමුද්‍රව්‍ය දෙනවා, and standard cover huge range of activities. ඒතර මේ වගේ ලොකු අපසරයක් cover කරන එක තමයි මේ ISO කියන එකෙන් හදලා තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට standards are distilled wisdom of people with expertise in their subject matters and who know the needs and organization that represent people such as manufacturers, sellers, buyers, customers, trade association, user, regulators. වගේ ගොඩාක් අය මේකට සම්බන්ධ වෙනවා. එතකොට මේ අපේ ආයතනයක මේක ගත්තොත් මේකට එක්කෙනෙක් විතරක් නෙවෙයි, මේකට ලොකු පිරිසක් දායක කරගැනීමේ හැකියාව ලැබෙනවා. එතකොට මේකෙදි ගත්තොත් quality management standards කියන්නේ එතකොට අපේ ආයතනයේ quality management and standards කියොත් ඒකට supply කරන අයටත් යම් කිසි මට්ටමකින් ඒක implement කරන්න වෙනවා. and තව තියෙනවා ඒ වගේ environmental management standards, health and safety, energy management, right? ඒ කියන්නේ මේ ශක්තියින් කළමනාකරණය, food and safety, ආහාර හා සුරක්ෂිතභාවය, right? ඒක තමයි ඔය ගොඩාක් foods වලට සමහර ඒවාට මේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක ගන්න එක අනිවාර්යයි. right? එයාලා ඒක මාකටිං ටූල් එකක් විදිහට පාවිච්චි කරාට. IT and security standards, ඒ කියන්නේ information තොරතුරු තාක්ෂණය සහ ඒකේ මේ security ආරක්ෂා පිළිබඳව තියෙන standards. එතකොට කොහොමද මේ informations ගබඩා කරලා තියන්නේ, කොහොමද මේවා safely තියන්නේ කියලා අපි බලමු. right? එතකොට පොඩි clip එකක් තියෙනවා අපි බලමු.
We live in an amazing world, full of incredible opportunities and endless possibilities. But it can also be a complex and overwhelming place. When things don't work as they should, it often means that standards are absent. But when ISO standards are applied, life is just so much richer. ISO standards help to make the world a safer, cleaner, and more efficient place. From food safety to computers, from healthcare to new technologies. There are many challenges facing our environment, economy, and society. ISO can make a positive difference to all our lives, utilizing a wealth of international experience and wisdom. In today's ever-changing world, ISO standards help create growth, open up global markets, and make trade fairer, including for developing countries. ISO standards can help tackle global challenges like climate change, road safety, energy, and social responsibility. ISO standards touch almost everything we do, keeping us connected and entertained, making us more productive, more creative, sharing ideas, promoting innovation, and keeping us safe and healthy. ISO is the world's largest developer of voluntary international standards, with over 18,000 standards for nearly every aspect of technology and business. For over 60 years, a network of standards bodies in 163 countries, working in partnership around the world and right here at home. ISO builds confidence for today, for tomorrow, and for the future.
right. ඔයාලට තේරුම් නැති ඒ කියන්නේ හැම දෙයකම හැම ප්‍රොඩක්ට් එකකම සමහරට ස්පෙસિෆිකේෂන්ස් ඒ හැම දෙයත් එක්කම ISO තියෙනවා. එතකොට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ගත්තොත් දැනට ගත්තොත් එහෙම මේ ISO තියෙනවා 20000කට වැඩි standards. but ඒ අතරින් most popular standards විදියට අපි අඳුර ගන්නවා our graded his most popular outstanding ඒවා විදිහට ISO 9001, right? Right. ISO 9001 related standards quality management තත්ත්ව කළමනාකරණයට තමයි මේක තියෙන්නේ, right? For organizations asking how to improve the quality of their product and services and consistently meet their customers' expectation, ISO has an answer. එතකොට මේකෙදි කියලා කියන්නේ ආයතනයකට තමන්ගේ කස්ටමර්ස්ලා බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන විදිහ දේවල් හැමදාම ඒ කියන්නේ product and services and consistently meet the customers expectation. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමදාම customer expect කරන විදිහටම දේවල් එයාට ලබා දෙන්න ඕන කියලා ආයතනයකට හිතුනොත් ISO වලට ඒකට තියෙන solution එක. Addressing the various aspects of quality management and containing some ISO best known standard, there's a ISO 9000 family. එතකොට මේ 9000 කියන කැටගරියෙන් කතා කරන්නේ මේ quality management ගැන. ඒ කියන්නේ තත්ත්ව කළමනාකරණය ගැන. මේක හුඟක් අපිට පාවිච්චි වෙනවා. දැන් ඔයාලා ගත්තොත් එහෙම නිකන් සයිබර් කඩේකට ගියාමයි ලොකු 5 star hotel එකකට ගියාමයි තියෙන වෙනස ඔයාලා දන්නවනේ. කෑමවල ගත්තත් සර්විස් එකේ ගත්තත් accessibility කියන්නේ යන්න එන්න පහසුයි. right? ඒ කියන්නේ wheel chair එකේ රෝද පුටුවක එන කෙනෙක්ට උනත් access කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙන විදිහට හැමදේම සකස් කරලා තියෙන well established වෙනවා හැම වෙලාවෙම clean කරන ඒ වගේ quality maintain කරන ආයතන තියෙනවා. ඒකට එහෙම නොකරන ආයතන වලට ඒක ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. right? ඒ හින්දා මේ ISO කියන එක quality management පැත්තේ කියන 9001 කිව්වොත් මතක තියාගන්න ඒ තියෙන්නේ quality management තත්ත්ව කළමනාකරණයට අදාළව තියෙන දේවල්. right? ඊට පස්සේ අපි ගත්තොත් ISO 27000 family එක. මේකත් ටිකක් වැදගත් information security management IEC 27000 කියලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට IT security, cyber security, privacy protections are the vital for companies and organizations today. එතකොට අපි ගත්තොත් එහෙම දන්නවා අපේ මොබයිල් ෆෝන් එකට ඇඩ්වර්ටයිස්මන්ට් කීයක් එනවද කී දෙනෙක් කතා කරනවද මේ කියලා දන්න. ඊමේල්ස් ගත්තොත් ප්‍රොමෝෂන්ස් ඕන තරම් එනවා. අපේ ඊමේල් එක කොහෙන් ගියාද කොහොම ගියාද කියලා අපි දන්නේ නැහැ. හැබැයි මේ ISO මේකෙදී security management වල අපේ privacy එක ගැන හිතනවා කිසිම දෙයක් පිට කෙනෙක්ට දෙන්නේ නැහැ. අන්න ඒ වගේ security management එකක් තියෙන protection එකක් තියෙන privacy protection කියන එක highly concern වෙන method එකක් තමයි මේ ISO 27000 කියලා කියන්නේ. හුඟක් ආයතන වලට වැදගත් standard එකක් තමයි මේ. right? ඊට පස්සේ තව ඔය වගේ ගත්තොත් එහෙම කැටගරීස් කීපයක් තියෙනවා. මේ මෙන්න මේ ස්ලයිඩ්ස් එක අපි ඊට පස්සේ කතා කරලා කොහොමද බලමු මේ ගොඩක්ම famous වෙලා තියෙන overview of 9001 and ISO 14001. එතකොට අපි මේක ගැන තමයි කතා කරන්නේ. ISO 9001 සහ ISO 14001. right? ඉක්මනින් සර්ච් කරලා කියන්න what are the companies ලංකාවේ companies මේ දෙක achieve කරලා තියෙන ISO 9001 සහ ISO 14001. දෙකෙන් එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන් සමහරට දෙකම වෙන්න පුළුවන්. achieve කරලා තියෙන ලංකාවේ companies මොනවාද? ඉක්මනින් සර්ච් කරන්න බලන්න. what are the companies? Right. Hapagloid Lanka and 9001 is having Central Environmental Authority and breweries in Sri Lanka. So those kind, right? ඒ වගේවට තියෙනවා. අපි කතා කරගෙන යමු මොකක්ද මේ කියන්නේ. ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 කියන දෙක තමා the most well known standards 14001 සහ 9001. එතකොට මේක රටවල් 175ක තියෙනවා කියලා කියනවා. එතකොට ISO 9001කින් කරන්නේ quality management ගැන. 14001 කියන එක environmental management. එතකොට quality සහ environmental management කියන දෙක තමයි මේකදී අපි කතා වෙන්නේ.
Hello from ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva, Switzerland, and welcome to this video on ISO 9001. Today we'll be discussing what ISO 9001 is, why it's important, and who should use it. What is ISO 9001? ISO 9001 is a globally recognized standard for quality management systems, that's QMS, developed by the International Organization for Standardization, ISO. It provides a framework for organizations to ensure that their products and services consistently meet customer and regulatory requirements, and that they're continuously improving their processes and overall performance. ISO 9001 outlines requirements for a QMS, including processes for quality planning, control, and assurance, as well as methods for monitoring and measuring performance. It also provides guidelines for documentation, internal auditing, and corrective action. Organizations that are certified to ISO 9001 demonstrate to their customers and stakeholders that they're committed to delivering quality products and services and are continually improving their processes. Certification can be a valuable asset for organizations seeking to enhance their reputation and increase customer satisfaction, and this is typically carried out by a third-party auditor, which means that the ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva, Switzerland actually has nothing to do with certification. Why is ISO 9001 important and why is it required? ISO 9001 is important because it helps organizations improve their products and services while also increasing customer satisfaction. It's also a requirement for many industries and government contracts, as it demonstrates a commitment to quality management. A common misconception is that certification is carried out by the ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva, Switzerland, when in fact this is actually carried out by third-party auditors. By the way, if you want to stay updated on this standard and related topics, subscribe to our email list by clicking here or on the link in the description below. Who should use ISO 9001? The beauty of ISO 9001 is that it can be used by any organization regardless of size or industry. It's particularly beneficial for organizations that want to improve their quality management systems and customer satisfaction. What's the difference between ISO 9001 and ISO 14001? So ISO 14001 is a standard for environmental management systems, while ISO 9001 is for quality management. Both standards can be used by any organization, but they have different focuses and requirements. What's the difference between ISO 9001 and ISO 13485? ISO 13485 is a standard for quality management systems in the medical device industry. It's similar to ISO 9001, but includes additional requirements specific to medical devices. What's the difference between ISO 9001 and AS 9100? AS 9100 is a standard for quality management systems in the aerospace industry. It's based on ISO 9001, but includes additional requirements specific to the aerospace industry. What is a major nonconformity for ISO 9001? A major nonconformity is a significant deviation from the requirements of ISO 9001 that could impact the ability of an organization to meet customer or regulatory requirements. What is an ISO 9001 audit? An ISO 9001 audit is a systematic review of an organization's quality management system to ensure that it meets the requirements to the ISO 9001 standard. And what are the benefits of ISO 9001? While there are many, ISO 9001 provides organizations with the guidance for improved customer satisfaction, increased efficiency, better risk management, and enhanced competitiveness. More specifically, what topics does ISO 9001 cover? ISO 9001 covers a wide range of topics related to quality management. This includes customer focus, leadership, risk management, process improvement, and continuous improvement. What is ISO 9001 certification? ISO 9001 certification is a formal recognition that an organization's quality management system meets the requirements of the ISO 9001 standard. It's awarded by an independent certification body after a successful audit. And then the big question, how to get an ISO 9001 certification. So to get ISO 9001 certified, an organization must implement a quality management system that meets the requirements of ISO 9001 and undergo a successful audit by an independent certification body. The process typically involves several stages, including documentation review, on-site audit, and certification decision. This wraps up our discussion on ISO 9001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below in the comments section. And also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Hello from ISO Central Secretariat in Geneva, Switzerland, and welcome to our video on ISO 14001. Today, we'll be talking about ISO 14001 and help you understand why it's important for you and your business. So what is ISO 14001? ISO 14001 is a globally recognized standard that provides a framework for an environmental management system, that's EMS. This helps organizations minimize their environmental impact and comply with applicable laws and regulations. The standard was first published in 1996 and since then has been revised several times. ISO 14001 is based on the Plan, Do, Check, Act, that's PDCA cycle, and requires organizations to establish an environmental policy, identify their environmental aspects and impacts, set environmental objectives and targets, implement operational controls, monitor and measure their performance, and continually improve their EMS. What is ISO 14001 certification? ISO 14001 certification is a formal process where an independent third-party auditor evaluates an organization's EMS to ensure it meets the requirements of the ISO 14001 standard. The certification process involves a series of audits that assesses the organization's compliance with the standard, including its policies, procedures, and practices. Once certified, the organization can display the ISO 14001 logo on their website and marketing materials to demonstrate their commitment to environmental management. By the way, if you want to keep up to date on this standard and related topics, subscribe to our email list by clicking here or on the link in the description below. How to get ISO 14001 certification. So, to get ISO 14001 certified, you'll need to follow the following steps. First, you develop an EMS that meets the requirements of the ISO 14001 standard. This involves identifying your organization's environmental aspects and impacts, setting environmental objectives and targets, and implementing operational controls to minimize your environmental impact. Next, you'll need to implement the EMS and make sure it's working effectively. This involves training your employees on the EMS, monitoring your environmental performance, and reviewing and updating your EMS as necessary. Be sure to hire an accredited third-party auditor to assess your EMS. The auditor will conduct an initial audit to assess your EMS and identify any nonconformities. Be sure to address any nonconformities identified during the audit. You'll need to take corrective action and address any issues identified during the audit and demonstrate that you've addressed them. From here, you're almost ready to receive your ISO 14001 certification. If your EMS meets the requirements to ISO 14001 and you have addressed any nonconformities, the auditor will then issue your certification. And congratulations, you're ISO 14001 certified. Why is ISO 14001 important? ISO 14001 is important because it helps organizations reduce their environmental impact. It helps to improve environmental performance and comply with environmental regulations. By implementing an EMS, organizations can identify and manage their environmental risks. They can reduce their resource use and waste generation and enhance their environmental performance. Compliance with environmental regulation is also an important aspect of 14001, as organizations are required to comply with applicable environmental laws and regulations in order to be certified. Additionally, ISO 14001 can enhance an organization's reputation with customers, investors, and other stakeholders by demonstrating a commitment to sustainability. How do you implement ISO 14001? To implement ISO 14001, you'll need to, first of all, understand the requirements of the standard. This involves familiarizing yourself with ISO 14001 and its requirements, as well as identifying any additional requirements that may apply to your organization. You'll also need to establish an environmental policy and objectives. This involves developing a policy that outlines your organization's commitment to environmental management, as well as setting environmental objectives and targets that align to your organization's goals and priorities. You'll also need to develop an EMS that addresses environmental risks and opportunities. This involves identifying your organization's environmental aspects and impacts, also implementing operational controls to minimize your environmental impact, and establishing procedures to monitor and measure your environmental performance. Be sure to train your employees on the EMS. This involves ensuring that all employees understand their roles and responsibilities within the EMS and are trained to implement the procedures and controls established in the EMS. You'll need to monitor and measure your environmental performance. This involves establishing procedures to monitor and measure your environmental performance and track progress towards your environmental objectives and targets. Finally, you'll need to review and continually improve your EMS. This involves conducting periodic reviews of your EMS to identify opportunities for improvement and making changes as necessary to enhance your environmental performance. What's the difference between ISO 14001 and ISO 45001? ISO 14001 and ISO 45001 are two separate standards that address different aspects of an organization's management system. ISO 14001 is focused on environmental management, while ISO 45001 is focused on occupational health and safety management. While there are some similarities between the two standards, such as the Plan, Do, Check, Act (PDCA) cycle and the requirement for continuous improvement, there are also significant differences in the specific requirements of each standard. For example, ISO 45001 requires organizations to establish procedures for hazard identification and risk assessment, while ISO 14001 requires organizations to identify and manage their environmental aspects and impacts. What's the difference between ISO 14000 and ISO 14001? ISO 14000 is a family of standards that includes ISO 14001, as well as several other standards related to environmental management, such as ISO 14004 and ISO 14006. ISO 14001 is the most widely recognized and adopted standard within the ISO 14000 family and provides a framework for organizations to establish and maintain an effective EMS. While ISO 14000 provides a broad overview of environmental management systems, ISO 14001 provides specific requirements for implementing an EMS that meets the ISO 14001 standard. In summary, while ISO 14000 provides a broad framework for environmental management, ISO 14001 provides specific requirements for implementing an effective EMS. Organizations can use the guidance provided by ISO 14000 to enhance their overall environmental management efforts, while implementing ISO 14001 can help them achieve specific environmental management goals and objectives. That's a wrap on ISO 14001. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you for watching.
Conform to the standard and report on the effectiveness of its performance to top management. Clause 6 talks about environmental aspects, which are elements of an organization's activities or products or services that interact or can interact with the environment. Taking these into account, This clause requires your organization to develop a process to consider the risks and opportunities that could affect the performance of your organization's EMS, and to use this risk planning process to plan how to meet the requirements and issues relating to interested parties that were identified in the context of the organization. Secondly, taking the organization's environmental aspects into account, Clause 6 requires that you set environmental objectives at relevant levels and functions, and to develop a plan of actions to achieve these objectives. Clause 7 describes the requirement to determine the resources needed for an effective and continually improving EMS. In particular, you have to ensure that the people are not only trained but competent with regard to the organization's environmental aspects. They must be aware not only of their EMS responsibilities, but also the implications of non-compliance with regulations and not conforming with EMS requirements. The requirement for processes establishing and controlling EMS-related communications is laid out in some detail, covering the need to know what, how, when, and with whom, both within and beyond the organization. Finally, Clause 7 requires that you properly and responsibly manage EMS documents and records. You start by determining how extensive your documentation needs to be, and then ensure that all of the EMS relevant documents and records are properly controlled. Clause 8 is about putting into effect the planning that was done in Clause 6 by actually establishing your EMS processes and controlling how they operate. This includes having to control outsourced processes and controlling things like transport, delivery, and disposal, where these might have environmental aspects. Finally, you are required by Clause 8 to prepare for potential emergency situations that were identified under planning in 6.1, and to establish processes to deal with these situations should they arise. Clause 9 requires that an organization shall monitor, measure, analyze, and evaluate its environmental performance and the effectiveness of its EMS, planning what, when, and what methods to use for measuring. Special attention must be paid to evaluating regulatory compliance requirements and taking appropriate action when necessary. Internal audits of the EMS shall be conducted at planned intervals, and the audit results must be reported to top and other relevant management. Finally, picking up from Clause 5 on leadership, Clause 9 requires top management to review the organization's EMS at planned intervals to ensure its continuing suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness, and to document the results of these management reviews. Firstly, Clause 10 requires the organization to determine opportunities for improvement of the EMS and take necessary actions after evaluation. Then, when a non-conformity occurs, you have to control and correct it and deal with any immediate consequential environmental impact. Once it has been contained and impact addressed, you are required to evaluate the need for corrective action to eliminate whatever caused the non-conformity and prevent similar potential non-conformities from occurring. Finally, the organization is required to take steps to continually improve the suitability, adequacy, and effectiveness of the EMS. If you found this video in any way helpful, you might also find it of interest to watch my video, What are the benefits to ISO 14001? I'm Terry McCann. My company is TCMC Quality Management Services.
Right. Quality management, environmental management ගැන තියෙන ඒවා මම share කරන්නම්. So make a generic standard means these two, ඒ කියන්නේ 9001 and 14001, quality and the environmental management. Generic means that same standards can be applied any organization, large or small, whatever the product or service. මොන product එක තිබ්බත් service එක තිබ්බත් they have to work with the environment, they have to work under the quality process. ඒ හින්දා අපිට ඒ ගැන බය වෙන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. And in any sector of activity, whether it business, enterprise, public administration, hari government department, ඔය හැම දෙයකම මේ two standards follow කරන්න පුළුවන්. Right? And generic also signifies that no matter what organization's scope or activities. එතකොට මේ quality management ගැන මම quality කියලා දෙන්නේ, you are not in the strategic position to get those kind of decisions. ඒ කියන්නේ අපේ ආයතනයේට මේ වගේ quality management එකක් ඕනි කියන මට්ටමේවා නැතුව ඇති. You are in the beginner level හරි junior level එකේ employee කෙනෙක් විදිහට තමයි යන්නේ. But කවදා හරි මේ ගැන දැනුමක් තිබ්බොත් ඔයාට මතක් වෙයි මෙන්න මේ විදිහේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ්ස් තියෙනවා, මෙන්න මේ ආයතනෙන් ඒක කරනවා. ලංකාවෙත් ඒ වගේ කරන ඒජන්ට්ස්ලා ඉන්නවා. ඔය අවශ්‍ය දවසට ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ සර්ච් කරාම ඔයාට ඒ ගැන විස්තර දැනගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් කියන්නේ මොකක්ද? what are the updated standard. එතකොට ඒ වෙද්දි තියෙන updated standard මොනවද? what is most relevant to our organization එකට මොකක්ද අදාළම ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක? එක හෝ කීපයක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? If it want to establish quality management, ඒකට 9001 සහ environmental management system එකට 14001. එතකොට මේලේ අපි කතා කරපු දේවල්මයි management system එක. Management system means what the organization does to manage its processes or activities in order to ඒ කියන්නේ මොන management system එකද පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ organization එකේ නිෂ්පාදිත ඒ කියන්නේ භාණ්ඩ හෝ සේවා final customer ට යද්දී එයාට හොඳම satisfaction එකක් දෙන්න, හොඳම ගුණත්වයේ satisfaction එකක් දෙන්න සහ regulations අපිට අදාළ ඒවා implement කරන්න සහ පරිසරයේ පැත්තෙන් ගත්තොත් environmental objectives. ඊට පස්සේ ආයතනයේ වැඩ කරන අයට මේක system එක හදනවා වගේම everyone is clear about who is responsible. මේකට responsible කවුද, කොහොමද කරන්න කියන හැම කෙනාම අවබෝධයෙන් හිටියොත් මේක හොඳට achieve කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලායි කියන්නේ. Right? Large organizations who once with the compiled the process could not function well without the management system. එතකොට ලොකු හරි පොඩි හරි මේකට management system එකක් නැතුව නම් මේක implement කරන්න බෑ. අනිත් එක 14001 9001 අපි කලින් කතා කරා වගේ ආයතනය හොඳ සාර්ථකත්වයක් ගන්න පුළුවන් පහසු ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක්. Both ISO 9001 and ISO 14001 concern the way an organization goes about its works. එතකොට මේ දෙක හරි familiar සම්බන්ධ. Right? ඒක product එකේ standard වත් service එකේ වත් නෙවෙයි, ඒක process එකේ standard එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒ ආයතනයේ සිද්ධ වෙන ක්‍රියාවලියේ අදාළ standard එක. They can be used by product manufacturers and service providers. එතකොට product manufacture කරන අයයි අනිත් එක service සේවා සපයන අයයි දෙගොල්ලම මේක භාවිතා කරනවා. right? Processes කිව්වම මේක final product service එක යන කම්ම තියෙන processes මේකට අදාළ වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ මේක මේක certificate එක ගන්න කොහොමද කියන එක සහ accreditation ඒ කියන්නේ ISO ආයතනයේ කොහොමද accreditations ගන්න කියන certify is not a requirement of ISO. right. ඔය විදිහට ගත්තොත් ISO 9001 මේවා ගැන කතා කරාකි. right. ඊට පස්සේ ISO standard ගැන තව ගත්තොත් ඒ කියන්නේ මේක standard ගොඩක එකතුවක්නේ. එතකොට මේකේ තව අපි පාවිච්චි කරන standards කීපයක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි ISO 45001 relates to standards occupational health and safety. එතකොට 45001 කියන්නේ වැඩ පරිසරයේ සෞඛ්‍ය සහ ආරක්ෂාව පිළිබඳව තියෙන එක. එතකොට අපිට මේක ටිකක් unfamiliar. අපේ ගොඩක් organizations මේව follow කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඊට පස්සේ ISO 639 කියලා කියන්නේ language codes. ඒ කියන්නේ describe the languages in an internationally accepted way with this standard. right. then language එකක් නම් ඒක ජාත්‍යන්තරව accept කරලා තියෙන විදිහට ඒක තියෙන්න ඕන. ඊට පස්සේ ISO 4217 කියන්නේ currency codes. අපි මොනවද මුදල් භාවිතය පිළිබඳ මොනවද වෙන්න ඕන කියන එක. ඊට පස්සේ ISO 8601. දැන් ඔයාලට හිතෙන්නේ නැති මේ ISO කියන එක අපි දැක්කට ඒක කොච්චර ලොකු ස්කෝප් එකක්ද කියන එක සහ අපේ ආයතනයේට ෆලෝ කරන්න පුළුවන් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් තියෙනවා. date and time format. දැන් ඔයාලට තේරිලා ඇති සමහර වෙලාවට මේ date and time format කියන එක මේ කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියන එක. right. ඒ කියන්නේ සමහර ආයතනවල date and time format එක මෙන්න මේ විදිහට තියෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ 1.5.22. right. ඊට පස්සේ සමහරු January 5th 2022 or May 1st 2022 ඒ විදිහට දානවා. ඊට පස්සේ in an individual uncertainty can be එතකොට on an individual level uncertainty can be frustrating. එතකොට මේක සමහර වෙලාවට ගැටලුවක් වෙනවා. එතකොට ISO 8601 ඒ කියන්නේ 8601 tackle the in uncertainty by setting out the internationally agreed way to represent data year එක month එක and date එක. therefore එතකොට මේකෙදි year month day hour minute second and millisecond ඒ විදිහට තමයි ඒ format එක යන්නේ. මේ යන්නේ 2022 9/27 18 කියන්නේ කීවෙනි පැයේද කීවෙනි මිනිත් එකේද කීවෙනි තප්පරයේද කීවෙනි මිලිසෙකන්ඩ් එකේද ඔය විදිහට තමයි මේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක යන්නේ. එතකොට ආයතන එකත් මේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකට හැමතැනම මේවා ෆලෝ වෙනවා නම් ඒක මාර ඊසි හැම කෙනෙක්ටම තේරුම් ගන්න. right? ඕක වෙන්නේ ජනවාරි මාසේ 5 වෙනිදා 2023 කියලා තිබ්බොත් 23 වගේ කියලා තිබ්බොත් එහෙම 1/5 2023 කියලා තියෙනවා 5/1 2023 කියලා සමහරු ලියන. එතකොට ඒක ඉන්ඩිපෙන්ඩන්ට් කෙනෙක් දකිද්දී ඔය දෙපැත්තටම තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? ඊළඟට තමා 9660 ISO images for computer files. right? ඔය විදිහට තියෙනවා. The standard that enable compact disk. එතකොට images computer එකේ image file කොයි විදිහටද තියෙන්න ඕනේ කියලා මේ standard එකේ තියෙනවා. right? byte ගානේ ඉඳන් තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ ISO fix. දැන් ඔයාලා දැකලා ඇති කැමරා එහෙම පාවිච්චි කරනවා නම් ISO කියලා එකක් තියෙනවා. The camera film standards, one of the earliest ISO standards. ISO 6 allowed the photographers to select the right film or their subjects. right? ඊට පස්සේ ISO 14001 අපි දැන් දන්නවා environmental considerations ගැන. ඊට පස්සේ testing calibrated laboratory food and safety ISO 22000. ISO 26000 කියන්නේ social responsibility කියන එක. right? ඊට පස්සේ ISO 50001 කියන්නේ energy management. right? මේක ටිකක් වැදගත් energy management ගැන. right? මේ energy management ගැන
How we face up to the world's energy challenges will heavily influence the future we leave for our children. Developing and deploying technologies for new and renewable energy sources can take time, but organizations can achieve immediate benefits by improving the way they manage energy. Improved energy efficiency can cut costs, conserve resources, and contribute to reducing global warming. The new ISO 50001 standard for energy management systems can help safeguard our future by making a positive difference in the here and now. When it comes to energy management, confidence has a nickname that's recognized worldwide. Now you know it too. It's ISO.
right? මේකේ කියන්නේ energy කොයි විදිහටද අපි manage කරන්න ඕන කියන එක ගැන තියෙන standard තමයි මේකෙදි තියෙන්නේ. right? එතකොට මේ standard එකක් වෙද්දී ඒකට සම්පූර්ණ details තියෙනවා ඒක කොයි විදිහටද වෙන්නේ කියලා තියෙනවා. right? ඊට පස්සේ මේ country codes කියන එක. right. social responsibility ISO 26000. right. මම හිතන්නේ ඒක අපි බලුවා anti bribery management. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි කියන්නේ මේ මූල්‍ය වංචා කියලා bribery පගාව ගන්න. right? අන්න ඒවා කොහොමද නවත්තන්නේ කියන එක. right? ISO 20121 sustainable events. You can make your events more sustainable no matter its types or size with ISO. Event takes heavy toll on resources. right. මේක පොඩ්ඩක් කියව ගන්න. right. ඊට පස්සේ මේ country codes කියන එක ISO 3166. එතකොට රටවල් වල codes පාවිච්චි කරන්න ඕන කියන එකට කොයි විදිහටද කියන එක මේ ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එකක් තියෙනවා. right. ඒකට glossary එකකුත් හදලා තියෙනවා. මේ මොනවද කොයි විදිහටද එන්න ඕන කියලා. දැන් අපි SL කියලා පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැහැ. සියරා ලියෝන් කියලා රටක් තියෙන හින්දා LK කියලා ලංකා කියන එක තමයි කෙටි කරලා LK කියන එක තමයි අපි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ. right. එතකොට ඔය ටික තමයි මේකේ මේ වැදගත් කියලා තියෙන්නේ ISO කරන්න. එතකොට අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ISO ලංකාවේ කරන්නේ කවුද? right. අන්නේ ඊට පස්සේ අපි ISO certification එකක් ගන්නවා නම් මොනවද process එක කියන එක අනිවාර්යෙන් බලලා තියාගන්න. those are the topics to do the self study. right. දැන් නිකන් chat එකේ දාන්න බලන්න මේ what is the process to get ISO certification. කියන්නේ ලංකාවේ ඉඳන් certification in Sri Lanka. right. ලංකාවේ ඉඳන් මේ certification එක ගන්න process එක කොහෙන් හරි නිකන් බලලා ඉන්ටර්නෙට් එකේ search කරලා link එක දාන්න බලන්න chat එකේ as a self study. හොඳට බලන්න, හොඳට කියවලා බලලා ඒකේ අවශ්‍ය කරුණු තියෙනවද කියලා බලලා chat එකේ දාන්න. හරි.
In this video you are going to learn total quality management. Topics I have discussed in this video are: what is total quality management? 7 principles of total quality management, advantages of total quality management, and disadvantages of total quality management. Let's start the video. Total quality management, or TQM, is a structured approach to overall organizational management. The focus of the process is to improve the quality of an organization's outputs, including goods and services, through the continual improvement of internal practices. Total quality management is a term that was found in the 1950s. It was developed by William Deming, a management consultant, whose work had a great impact on Japanese manufacturing. The term total defines the entire organization. All parties, departments, and functions are involved in quality management. TQM is the continuous process of detecting and reducing or eliminating errors in manufacturing, streamlining supply chain management, improving the customer experience, and ensuring that employees are up to speed with training. Let's discuss 7 principles of total quality management. Number 1. Customer focused. Finally, the customer's feedback determines the level of quality. No matter what a system works to bring up quality improvement, training employees, unifying quality into the design process, or upgrading software, the customer controls whether the efforts were important. 2. Total employee involvement. All employees take part in working toward common goals. Total employee engagement can only be obtained after they have moved fear from the organization, when employee empowerment has occurred, and when management has created the proper environment. High-performance work systems involve continuous improvement efforts with normal business activities. 3. Process-centered. A fundamental part of TQM is its focus on process thinking. A process is a series of steps that take inputs from suppliers and transform them into outputs that are delivered to customers. The steps required to carry out the process are defined, and we should continuously monitor performance measures in order to detect unexpected variation. 4. Integrated system. An organization should have an integrated system that provides effective total quality management. This may be an implied system, or one based on a quality standard such as ISO 9001, but it should be understood and applied across all functions and divisions of the organization. 5. Decision-making based on facts. In order to know how well an organization is operating, data on performance measures is mandatory. Total quality management requires that an organization frequently collect and analyze data, in order to improve decision-making accuracy. 6. Strategic and systematic approach. A significant part of the management of quality is the strategic or systematic approach to achieving an organizational goal. This process is called strategic planning or strategic management, and this includes the formation of a strategic plan that combines quality as a core component. Number 7. Communication. During day-to-day operation and times of organizational change, effective communication plays a significant part in maintaining morale and motivating employees at all levels. Communication involves strategies, practice, and timeliness. Here is a question for you. Quality practices must be carried out. Your options are: at the start of the project, throughout the life of the project, at the end of the project. No need to carry out quality practices. Give the answer in the comment section. Now move on to advantages of total quality management. The advantages of TQM include defect reduction. Total quality management has a strong influence in improving quality within a process, rather than checking out quality into a process. This not only reduces the time required to fix errors, but makes it less significant to employ a team of quality assurance personnel. Productivity improvement. Productivity rises significantly since employees are giving much less of their time chasing down and correcting errors. Increased productivity produces more output per employee, which often results in increased profits. Cost reduction. Total quality management can reduce costs throughout an organization, when implemented consistently over time. As a result of fewer product defects, companies save costs of customer support, product replacements, field service and the creation of product fixes. Customer satisfaction. Since the company has better product and services, and its interactions with customers are nearly error-free, there should be fewer customer objections. A higher level of customer satisfaction may also lead to raised market share, as existing customers act on the company's side to bring in more customers. Improve employee morale. The ongoing and proven success of total quality management can lead to a noticeable improvement in employee morale, which reduces employee turnover, and accordingly reduces the cost of hiring and training new employees. Disadvantages of total quality management. TQM also requires a considerable training period for those employees involved in it. Since the training can take people away from their usual work, this can actually have a negative effect on costs, which is a short-term effect. Since total quality management results in a continuing series of incremental changes, it can develop a negative reaction from those employees who choose the current system, or who feel that they may lose their jobs because of it. If you want to read in details or download the PDF, go through the link in the description. If you find the video helpful and informative, give us a like, share the video and don't forget to subscribe to Education Leads channel.